what does this 5-point plan, if implemented by the commissioner, mean to player safety?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily by itself going to make the game safer, but I think it's a big step, and it's an important thing that they acknowledge that there is an issue. Certain other leagues have skirted issues like this or avoided them, and the NHL has stepped up and said, hey, we're not afraid to confront this, and tapped into a lot of different general managers with varying different opinions on the situation.
Absolutely, and you got to think that at any point in any game, whether people want to change the game or not, player safety should always be the number one priority. All right, we're going to take a short break, folks, and when we come back, we're going to discuss Mario Lemieux's letter to Gary Bettman. Welcome back, folks. Penguins owner Mario Lemieux sent a letter to the NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman earlier this week and suggested a protocol for suspension and fines in the NHL dealing with illegal hits is at such 1 to 2 games and a $50,000 fine to the team for the first offense, 4 games, and a $100,000 fine to the team for the second offense. For the third offense, 5 to 8 games, $250,000 fine to the team. Fourth offense, 9 to 10 games, $500,000 fine to the team, and 11 to 15 games, $750,000 fine to the team. And that is, again, on the fifth offense, 11 to 15 games, more than 15 games, and a $1 million fine to the team if this type of play and this type of illegal hit consists. And he had this to say: Penguins would have been fined $600,000 this season because of recent suspensions to 2 players, and we all have to take responsibility if we're going to improve the game. Of course, the $600,000 would have come if the system Lemieux suggested would have been implemented. And what are your thoughts on Lemieux's letter to Bettman?
Very strong statement by Mario Lemieux. Not afraid to step up and take responsibility, because Matt Cook gets mentioned every time someone mentions dirty hits, especially by the Penguins or when there's a Penguin involved. Matt Cook's name seems to be on everybody's lips. So I think Mario Lemieux stepping up and saying, hey, we'll take responsibility for ours. Are you willing to take responsibility for yours? Is a big statement.
Absolutely. And Mario Lemieux's a stand-up guy, and it just goes to show, people wouldn't be pointing the finger at Lemieux in this instance if they didn't care what he had to say. But Lemieux, the greatest of all time, he doesn't say much, but when he does, people listen. Another big story out of Pittsburgh this week: Sidney Crosby skated on Monday for 15 minutes, and again for another 15 minutes earlier this morning. Completed some drills, including some stick-handling drills and some shooting drills. Crosby has been rumored to be symptom-free for a few days now. Assuming these light drills don't set him back any, could this mean a possible return before the end of the season?
Well, I don't want to be too hopeful, but I think he should be back by April. That's my prediction, and that was my prediction originally when this happened, is that he would be back towards the end of the season, or if nothing else, by the playoffs.
Absolutely, and of course, there's still no official timetable for Crosby's return. Also, a few more players edging ever closer to returns as Eric Grady, Aaron Asham, and Brooks Orpik, all of which have been skating. So possible return for those players coming back soon. And if we can get these players back, what do you think that means for the Penguins' chance of the playoffs and possibly contending for a Stanley Cup?
I think it would be huge. I mean, Eric Grady, who was taken out by Trevor Gillies, who, in my opinion, really has no place in the NHL, and Aaron Asham, who had a similar incident, although his wasn't a targeted hit. If they can return, those are 2 big parts of our game. And Brooks Orpik, he's been talking with the docs, had everything checked out, has it checked out once a week. It's feeling better. So, huge. It's going to build our total team composition and give us a good playoff shot.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to finish the show with some game predictions. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Iceberg. Our pick this week for the Iceberg Hall of Fame is goaltender Tom Barrasso. The goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins, 1988 through the 2000 season. Barrasso finished with 38 career shutouts and a career save percentage of .892, recording his best percentage in the 97-98 season with a .922 percentage. He's a two-time Stanley Cup champion who recorded a 9.13 save percentage and 2 shutouts. 28 total wins in the playoffs during his 2 Stanley Cup runs. Tom Barrasso, goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins again during their 2 Stanley Cup runs, and he is our inductee this week to the Iceberg Hall of Fame. By the way, folks, we do apologize. We're not going to be able to take any fan email this week. We apologize to all those who sent them in. We will get to them next week. Send your questions and comments to caseystamp@yahoo.com or just post them to our Facebook page. And now we've got some game predictions for you. The Penguins play the New York Rangers on NBC's Game of the Week. The last time these two teams met, it didn't fare well for the Pens as they would lose 5-3. Partner, what do you expect to see this time around in the Pens-Rangers game?
Well, I think the Pens are on a streak, especially now that we're back at home. So I think we've got a pretty good shot at winning this Rangers game. Now that we're off the road, back at home, things getting put together, our players starting to heal up. We got Kunitz back, and he's a Ranger killer. So I think we're going to see a very good shot at beating the Rangers.
Absolutely. And Monday, the Penguins will take on the Detroit Red Wings. In their last meeting, the Penguins would defeat the Wings by the score of 4-1. From the Wings, you expect a lot of speed and a lot of offense. How do the Pens counter that and get the 2 points here?
Well, Detroit, they've been as battered as we have in terms of injuries this season with a lot of their core players out. We've had those same kind of problems. So the meeting is going to be another battle as the previous meetings have been. So it's going to be one of those in-close physical battle type games where we're just going to have to get in there and win by any way we can.
Definitely. All right, folks, that's all the time we have tonight. Thank you here for tuning in to the Iceberg. And I just want to mention the Iceberg has just hit 1,300 fans on Facebook and over 225 YouTube subscribers. And we just want to say thank you from all of us here at the Iceberg for all your support. Thanks again, Craig, for joining us tonight. And I hope to talk to you again soon, maybe next week for the show.
Thanks. Good to talk to you, Casey. Y'all have a great time. Love you. Signing out from the Iceberg.
Awesome. And for all of us here at the Iceberg, everyone have a great weekend. Thank you and goodbye.